Hello, my name is Alasdair Coles and I run the Cambridge Academic Training Office. And this video is designed to encourage you to apply to a clinical lecturer post in Cambridge and to tell you what that application process is like, some details about CL posts, and where people who've done clinical lecturer jobs here in Cambridge end up. So, uh, why do a CL? Well, it's our goal to give talented doctors the experiences and opportunities to become future research group leaders, leading on a national and international stage. From the NIHR point of view, and they're the people who fund most of our clinical lecturer posts, their key output is people ending up in intermediate research fellowships. And one of the things that you could consider doing in preparation for your CL is work out exactly what the most appropriate intermediate senior fellowship is for you. So for 2024, we have a number of posts. These are advertised on Oriel and advertised in the Cambridge academic websites. And a key feature to notice straight away is that for each individual post, we have 2 or 3 specialities represented, which means that you will be competing for a post against people in 2 other different specialities. These posts will be advertised on the 1st of March for 4 weeks, and then interviews will be offered in May through to July, and offers made in August of this year. So in order to apply for one of these posts successfully, you need to have a PhD. And for those of you who are coming to the end of a PhD, you'll need to know these technical details, which is that you must have submitted your thesis at the time of the application deadline, and you cannot take up the post until your thesis has been awarded, which is to say, until your examiners have seen any corrections that have been asked for and deemed these acceptable. You have to also have a national training number in your speciality, and if you don't during the application process, then you'll have to go through national benchmarking before you can take up the post. So what happens at interview? Well, there'll be one interview, but 3 specialities will be represented. So there'll be a lot of people there, not only clinicians from that speciality, but also a representative of the Professor of Medicine, of the Deanery or HEE or NHS England as it's called, and so on. So there may be up to 10 people, and obviously that can be intimidating, and we apologize for that. It's simply to get everyone around the table who needs to be there. There's no fixed format, and so you could be asked any question, but I imagine that you will be asked questions in these domains, so your clinical training, your past research, which will almost certainly be on your PhD, and your plans for future research are really very important here. So where are you going to do it? What's the theme of it? What methods are you going to use? What collaborations are already in place are we going to make to ensure that it's successful? And you may well want to cover those topics, particularly in your cover letter for the application to the post. You'll be asked about teaching and integrating your research into clinical service and clinical training, and then there may well be questions about inclusion and diversity, about patient-public engagement, and so on. So a CL post is 4 years, 100% full-time, 4 years, and the clinical and research periods are 50% of that time, and they can either be taken as blocks, or you can have a week in which there are days you do research and days you do clinical work. And you should negotiate with your research team and with your training program director which of these is most suitable for you. It's important to know that if you take up a fellowship or a consultant employment at any time during the 4 years, the clinical lecturer post comes to an end. That's it. If your CCT happens during the 4 years, then it is possible to extend your CL post beyond the CCT up to a total of 4 years, with approval from the NIHR ultimately, and with local approvals, and that would put you in the very advantageous position that you would be doing 80% of research now, a maximum of 20% clinical service for up to 2 years. So what happens to people who do a CL post at Cambridge? Well, from our academic lecturers over that 5-year period, the last known destination has been predominantly a competitive intermediate fellowship. Some have gone on to NHS consultant posts, and some have gone to substantive academic posts, 18% in UK universities or institutes, and the remaining 10% elsewhere. And 14% have gone on to consultant posts with research component, and a small proportion to senior fellowship. So you can see that most people end up in a research position of one sort or another. So that concludes what I wanted to say. You'll find we have a web page which has a lot of detail on clinical academic training in Cambridge. I want to encourage everyone who is watching this to consider applying. We're very keen to see people from all parts of the country, all parts of the world applying, and I wish you the very best in your application process. Thank you.